everybody. Good morning. It is September 1st. It's Thursday. My kids are in school. They've changed schools now. It's crazy. This morning, I am so excited to welcome my friend Andrea Dunn to be on Instagram Live with all of you today. She is the author of a book called My Body Boss, Living Wild with RA. So Andrea was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis at age 24. She'd had problems with its symptoms since she was about 12, but it took that long to get a diagnosis, which was kind of crazy. Anyway, she has sort of gotten herself out of confusion and into control of her own life. So I was so excited to have her join us because that's what I'm all about, taking control of your own life, right? So yeah, we're just going to wait for a moment and get Andrea online here. Let's see if we can get... but yeah, she's become a dear friend. I've only met her recently. But yeah, after living for more than a decade with symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis, she really took control of her own life and just took one small action that made her smile, and then another, and then another. And eventually, I mean, you're going to see she's an inspiring human being. I'm so excited that she's going to be here. And now Andrea spends her time empowering others that have been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis to help manage their symptoms and take control of their lives. So let's just get her in. Here she is. She's coming. Oh, the power of technology. It's so fun. Let me just make sure. Push the button again. All right. Oh, she's unable to join. What's happened? Let's keep trying. Gotta love live video, right, everybody? So I'm all about taking control of your own life, whether it's financial or health or what have you. Oh, there she is. Hello, Andrea.
Hello.
So yeah, I just want to finish that thought. So I'm all about taking control of your life and creating a life that you love. And the way I've done it, I started off with money and then, worked my way through health, through relationships, through all kinds of different things. And there's so many ways to actually do that and take control of your life. And I'm just so inspired by you, Andrea, and what you've been able to achieve with getting a chronic diagnosis, especially at an early age, but even before that, having, spent years with symptoms and not really knowing what was going on. Tell us a bit more about your journey.
Well, I can think back to camping with my family and having all these crotchety joint feelings at age 12 and or younger, or being in a baton thing for a parade and my body hurting at this young age. And I just went to doctors, a pediatrician, that with this chronic pain that nobody knew what it was, and constantly I was being told I was having growing pains. And so I just trusted that, and I said, okay, I thought maybe everybody deals with this, and I was looking forward to growing.
Right, get it over with.
It did. I even trusted this 22 when my mom's like, you have growing pains. I'm like, yes, maybe I won't be 5'2". But yeah, I mean, I look back, probably around 24, I was on my own. I was out of grad school, and I had, gotten my medical records from over the years, and a couple of them had written, consider testing for juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, and nobody did. And so I could see that as hateful and bitterness, but there's some ignorant bliss involved with that as well. The less damage of the drugs, maybe potentially more damage from not having them, but you just don't know. And so I finally just decided to go to a rheumatologist when I was 24. I had gotten my own health insurance, and in my profession of medicine, sports medicine, you don't deal with a lot of arthritic joint issues, especially not 24 years ago. So,
especially not in college students like you deal with now.
right. And I was working at a high school, so I definitely was not, something that I knew about JRA. I didn't know about it. So I just figured I would go to a rheumatologist because my grandpa had wacky fingers and my great grandma did, and might as well see what happens with this. So I went, and the doctor had said, you're negative, but you definitely have RA, you have JRA, you have it in your neck and your, all these other parts. And can I take you around the office to show people? Because I've never had anyone this young to have cervical arthritis.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, being in medicine, I thought it was cool, in a way, but I got out to the car, and I was just like, I just sat there and I was like, what does this all mean? And I kind of felt like this huge overwhelm because I didn't know what just happened. And was I a freak show and all this stuff? And then on top of that, he had told me that the medicine I need costs 30 grand a year and my insurance didn't cover it. So I'm sitting there like, again, like, just I'm at a job that doesn't pay well. I purposely was excited to have health insurance because my parents always valued that. And then they're telling me it's not good enough. So it was, I actually did okay. I just managed like I did in college, here and there. I took some drugs. I took a cancer drug, a lot of it, to a chemo drug to offset what the biologics that I needed to have couldn't do because I didn't have them. And I got through. I moved up to Rhode Island, and then I got good health insurance. And by then I was really struggling. So it was a matter of time, and I got on biologics, which was what was needed. And that was a journey, because a lot of times with RA patients, you're going from drug to drug, just trying to find out what works with your biochemistry of your body. And I didn't think about it like getting me down. I didn't think about that because I knew that I trusted in a lot of doctors. I knew that there was a lot of medicine, and also there was a lot I didn't know to be afraid of. So, I guess, when you know too much, sometimes that can cause more problems. So I had a good doctor. I trusted him. And we eventually got to a drug that worked more, like basically the drugs were working and then they would like die off because they would be at a 2-week interval, and then you'd have to take another shot of it. But I was like lasting a week and a half. Or then they switched me to a week and I was only lasting 3 days. So then they switched me to using that drug twice a week, and it just wasn't working. And I have a job that's very physically demanding at times. My medical bag is like 40 pounds. I put it on like a little like roller cart now because I don't want to take anything out. And then I'm married. I tried to be basically focus on being a perfect wife, a perfect stepmom, and a perfect athletic trainer to my college kids. And that doesn't work when you try to be perfect.
No. And probably a perfect RA patient too, right?
Yeah.
Doing all the right things.
Yeah, I was totally firstborn child, pleaser kind of gal. So yeah, I tried to do everything, but it works against you. You go to appointments late, and then you feel guilty because you're going to appointments late, and you're missing appointments because of the brain fog, and all this is happening. And then I went plummeted downhill, hit rock bottom. I was trying to be a mom. I was failing at like everything. My body was just punching me verbally and physically. And so, I was in a dark place, really picturing some horrible outcomes, picturing that maybe it would be just better to just drive off a bridge and not know what would happen next. Like, I was okay. I figured maybe I'll just float. Maybe I'll just float away. I just didn't want to be in existence anymore because everything worked against me. I couldn't have a baby. I couldn't be a good wife. I was fighting with like everybody was like, it just felt like I was fighting
Yeah.
for everything with everyone. And I knew that I couldn't be an athletic trainer much longer. And that was like heartbreaking. I loved being an athletic trainer, but I was failing. I'd already had 2 surgeries on my hands.
Yeah.
My hip sucked. So I just said, all right, screw you. If this is where I'm at, if I'm heading towards hospice, because I had a great fear that my husband would be my caretaker, and that was hugely full of fear. I mean, I just the thought of it just ugh. So I said, well, if I'm going to hospice, I'm doing something to make me feel good. And I just made this one change that basically was like, F it. And I decided to dye my hair. I wasn't allowed to dye my hair through college. You couldn't be in sports medicine and have different colored hair because it didn't represent you as a trustworthy healthcare professional. You definitely couldn't do it as a professional at the high school. And I didn't think you could do it at the college, but I was at this point where I just couldn't care. There was nothing left for me in my mind. And I remember sitting outside, the next door neighbor who had a crazy life. She was about in her 20s. She sat me outside. I bought the box of purple hair dye, and she dyed my hair outside in the lawn. And it was crazy. It's hose water is not, it never really gets warm, you know?
It's not quite the
So,
salon you were thinking of.
yeah, I don't know if that ever grew back, that patch. No. Um, and so after that, I saw, like, although my husband was mortified, um, I looked in the mirror and it made me smile. And as nervous as I was to like, what would work say?
Yeah.
I also like had this relief that there was one thing in my body that I could control. I had to have I had to cut my hair short because I physically couldn't brush it, wash it, or put it in a ponytail. I had to wear QVC stretchy waistband pants because I physically couldn't button or zipper. My tops had to be buttoned, which was even harder because I couldn't physically get it over me. Every bit of my body hated me. And and I was like, not my hair. I don't care if I got to have it cut short. You are not winning. You are not winning. And even though I was still in this depressed state, I had one win, and it was so bright and bold and my favorite color that I just started making little changes, from there. And I got out. Rock bottom does not have a ceiling, so you can look up.
I love that. Oh my God. Well, and I mean, honestly, your story is so relatable to so many people. I mean, I don't have a chronic illness, but I felt, all of the things as, with my country song year and all of the things that happened, right? I hit that same rock bottom. I'm like, why am I even here? Like, what's the point? Kind of a deal. And then, yeah, if there's that one little glimmer that gets you out of it, and lets you take that next step forward, it's just everything can change in an instant, right? Like with a box of hair dye. It's
Yeah,
crazy how that can happen. So
it
amazing. And I'm
is.
so glad. And I mean, I love the purple. I've seen your hair, I don't know how many different colors now, and I love it. It's never the same. But look
Yeah.
at now, like you're a trendsetter. Look at everybody with all the different colors hair now, right? And it's fully accepted anywhere you go, right?
Well, it's a trendsetter to be like, I think I was in my 30s, early 30s,
Yeah.
no, mid 30s when I did it. And that was stuff the kids were doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like, you must be off your rocker if you're in your mid 30s, married with stepkids, and you're dyeing your hair. There's something wrong with you. I was like,
Yeah.
freak yeah, there's something wrong with me. There's a lot of something's wrong with me.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So good. Well, and I love too that now, I mean, you spend your time empowering others to not, sort of get stuck in that victim mode, right? Because you
Yeah.
could have. And, I mean, all of us do at some point, and we stay there for as long as we kind of need, but eventually getting out of that and just inspiring other people will keep you out of it,
Yeah.
is what I've found.
Yeah. I mean, I was angry. I was resentful. I was judgmental of others. I was depressed. I didn't know I was depressed. If somebody had told me I was depressed, I would have been like, no.
Yeah.
I had all the signs, but I had believed that depression was a mental illness. I didn't think it could be a symptom. I didn't think it could be transient. But there were a number of years that there was a lot of family fighting, and I'm sure I probably looked narcissistic. I believe that narcissism can be a symptom, and you don't have to have it for your life.
Absolutely.
There's an ego, you're just battling to survive mentally. So it takes you to places that you think other people have issues. So yeah, there's a absolute level of victimhood involved in chronic illness. And if I can't imagine anyone not going through some portion of it, even if it's like little bits and pieces here and there. I mean, I was still
Yeah.
thought I was happy at times. I still loved going to work, even though it was difficult. I was using two canes. I couldn't like really work on people. It took a long time. Like in college, in order to do an ankle tape, it has to take you 2.5 minutes. You have to be under 3 minutes. I was like doing it in 5. I was like getting the scissor, cutting the tape. Like they're like, Andrea. But I did see a lot of the helping of individuals in the workplace because the
Mm.
college kids were there. So I saw a different perspective, but I could also kind of relate in a lot of ways and maybe sometimes use language or scenarios that they understood. And I
Hmm.
think they also, at different times, because I've been there for 20 years, that they could have compassion for me.
Yeah.
And so I started, I guess, practicing. My guinea pigs were my college kids, and they always appreciated it. They would come in and say, Andrea, you'll tell me the truth. And it's so sad to think that there are people that don't, you know,
Yeah.
give that valuable information in a proper way, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, being encouraging, but also
Yeah.
honest. It's, yeah,
And
there's a
now
there's
I'm
a
looking
fine line
forward to
there.
doing it. Yeah. And now I'm looking forward to doing it. I'm doing it, but I'm looking forward to continuing to do it with people who are struggling with rheumatoid arthritis, you know.
Absolutely. Well, and your program, like I said, I don't have a chronic illness, luckily.
Yeah.
But your program was so um, inspiring, and just there's so many pieces that relate to anybody, right? That are looking to take control of their life. Even, when you talk about how to talk to your family, how to talk to your doctor, how to empower yourself, to have those
Yeah.
conversations, to be okay with knowing what or not knowing what you don't know, but figuring out what questions to ask, right? Like stuff like that. And people do that all the time with money. So, it's very in line with all of the things that I talk about. Like people are afraid to get started because they don't know what they don't know. They don't want to look stupid or uninformed, but that's how you get informed, by talking about things, right?
Yeah.
And even, I mean, I love in your program too, you talk about your health, right? And maintaining your health, and not just um, you know, just taking the drugs and trying it out and trying it out and trying it out, but like looking at things that you can do
Hmm.
between appointments, um, to take control of your own time, your own energy, your own money. I know that you've changed your diet completely to be able to manage
Yeah.
inflammation and other things, right? And that's stuff that they don't tell you in the medical appointments a lot of times.
No, that was me trusting an osteopathic doctor. And it was a weird way I got to her because I'm not a person that, if you had asked me, 15, 20 years ago, would I do alternative medicine? I would say no. I had strong trust and reliability in Western type medicine. And it was like, basically I was getting cortisone shots for my hip. And they ended up taking me to what at the time I would have considered a wackadoo doctor, who was a medical doctor who was going to do the ultrasound guided shot. And then he's like, he looked at me like I was hospice bound, like I could feel it, but his compassion was strong, and he sent me to an osteopathic doctor in his office. And then from there, it took many years, because I'm Italian and you don't give up bread and pasta that easily. So it took many years, and I finally did make the switch. But yeah, my course really is based on not not giving your power to somebody else. It's your body. It's your body. Don't get so frustrated with it that you're like, here, you take care of it. No, it's yours. The reason why you're potentially still in that rut is because you've given the power to RA or to a doctor who sees 20 to 30 other individuals a day. So your one appointment that you won't see them now for 2-3 months, or even if you're lucky, a month, how many more people are they seeing? Like, and I'm not saying they're being careless about you, or what's the word, like distant from you, like you're nothing, you're a transaction. I don't feel like that with rheumatology, but it's still up to you. You're with you 24/7. You're with you. There, you end up in the hospital. Is your rheumatologist going to visit you? Mine might send me a card. Actually, we have a good relationship, but like, what's going to really happen? That's what I tell the athletes. Like, when you're done your 4 or 5 years here, what's going to happen to your body? You've got to take care of it. You have to manage it.
Exactly.
And that's what tool. And my course is. It really doesn't need to be rheumatoid arthritis. I just take it from that realm, because I feel like right now in my world, that's who needs the most empowering. However, I had someone ask me, like, I have a heart condition. Yeah, take the course, because there's a million things in there that you will absolutely benefit from. And right now, while it's as cheap as it is, like, get the course, because I'm going to be switching it around and making it a little more, varied, so that, you can ingest more information. You don't have to take in so much information. So
right. Absolutely. So how can people find your course? How can they find you and do some further investigating with how you can teach them to take control of their bodies and their diagnosis?
Well, if you're in Rhode Island, I'm the only athletic trainer with purple hair, so that's an easy way to find me.
Easy to spot.
But I'm on Facebook, Andrea Dunn, DUNN, and then I have a group that I haven't done much with yet, which is basically Arthrize It. So instead of arthritis, Arthrize It, basically the bosses. So I'm going to be doing a little more with that in the next few months. My course is on mastermind.com, and I believe I have it listed as be your own body boss, 4 steps to managing RA, something around there. And then my handle for Instagram is Andrea.RAWYldchyld, and I spell that with Y's on purpose. If you look at my mastermind like front page, it'll tell you at the bottom why I use the Y and the L. So
awesome. Well, I'll post the links in the replay of this as well. And I'm so excited to know you. And I'm inspired by you every time we talk. Not only are you inspiring, but you're also hilarious, and you just make me laugh every time.
When you hit rock bottom, there can only be joy from there. Like, you're at rock bottom and you stub your toe, you're feeling pretty good. You're like, thank God it was only a stub toe.
Absolutely. So
and I look forward.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. I look forward to having you on my Instagram, because there is a lot surrounding RA and money issues. So I would love to interview you very soon, so that we can help others.
Absolutely. Well, that's the whole point, right? I mean, we both kind of hit that rock bottom in different ways, and now it's all about either keeping others from getting to that point or helping them get out of it faster, because I mean, there's so much to live for. There's so much greatness
out in the world. So let's spread it around.
I'm with you. Thank you for having
Awesome.
me. This was a blast.
This is so fun. Thank you so much, Andrea. And I'm going to post the links in the replay. And yeah, everybody follow Andrea as well, because she's an amazing human and you need to have her in your world.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
Wendy. Going to be switching it around and
Hello, everybody. Good morning. It is September 1st. It's Thursday.